Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Outer Rim Cantina. My name's Alan, and today I wanted to talk about the new details that have surfaced about the brand new First Order Star Destroyer we could see in the Rise of Skywalker. Making Star Wars recently came out with an article talking about the new Sith Troopers and a possible new superweapon that is rumored to appear in the final chapter of the Skywalker saga. The article said this about the Sith Troopers and new superweapon. Quote, "The Sith stormtroopers have been hidden away in the unknown regions. It is apparently hellish in those areas. The universe is not entirely stable. The area is dangerous and full of peril. Since Emperor Palpatine's death, the fleet has been dodging gravity wells and surviving in the wilderness of space in the unknown regions, waiting to be found and to finish their mission. The Red Sith stormtroopers, which belong to Palpatine, are hidden away inside a massive fleet, probably as a final act so upon his resurrection he could dominate the universe once more. However, the Death Star 2 wasn't Palpatine's last project. These Star Destroyers are equipped with planet-destroying weapons like the one on the Death Star itself." End quote. As we know from the Aftermath trilogy and Battlefront 2's campaign, Palpatine had a contingency plan that would go into effect in the event of his death. We've seen bits of that plan in action both in the trilogy of books and Battlefront 2's story, but the full effect of that contingency plan hasn't been explored yet. In the Thrawn novel, Palpatine worked with the Chiss Grand Admiral to explore and chart the unknown regions to prepare for the future of his empire. Meanwhile, the first phase of his contingency plan centered around the Sith's idea that an empire that could not protect its emperor should not exist without him. The Battle of Jakku is where that part of the plan took effect, where the empire attempted to destroy the planet, taking the remaining forces and their enemies down simultaneously. As we know, the remnants of the empire that survived the Battle of Jakku were eventually reborn as the First Order. But these new rumors suggest that the forces we've seen on screen have just been a front, and Palpatine's plans far exceed anything we've seen thus far. If the First Order we've seen on screen has indeed just been a front to distract the Resistance and the galaxy from Palpatine's true threat in the unknown regions, where a Sith fleet lurks in the darkness waiting for their master's return, that will make for some epic moments in the Rise of Skywalker. Instead of having yet another Death Star, which fans really don't want, I think the logical next step would be for the Empire to harness the power inside of the Kyber crystals used to power the Death Star's lasers, and turn that into a single weapon that can fit on a Star Destroyer. If Palpatine indeed does have a fleet of those weapons, then that's going to be some serious firepower the Resistance will be up against. As we can see from this Force Awakens concept art, the idea of a new type of Super Star Destroyer has been around for a while. We also know that a lot of unused ideas from the Force Awakens are making their way into the Rise of Skywalker, so it's very likely we'll see something similar to this in December. Another ship that comes close to the description of the Making Star Wars article is the recently revealed Onager-class Star Destroyer, part of the Star Wars Armada game from Fantasy Flight Games. The ship appears to be a precursor to the superweapon-carrying Star Destroyer set to be revealed in Episode 9. The ship is described as follows on Wikipedia, quote, "The Onager-class Star Destroyer, also known as the Siegebreaker, was an alleged type of capital ship that utilized a Kyber crystal superweapon in the capacity of a portable cannon. It was believed to be developed by the Galactic Empire, and used Kyber crystals powerful enough that could shatter mountains and anything but the strongest energy shields." End quote. It makes sense that during the time the Onager class was constructed, Imperial engineers didn't have the technology to transfer the Death Star's super laser into something small enough to fit into even the largest Star Destroyer. There was a reason the Death Star was the size of a moon, after all. The expanded novelization of The Last Jedi gives us a hint at what type of ships the Resistance could have up their sleeve to combat the massive amount of firepower they're going to be up against. Quote, "As the Resistance U-55 orbital load lifters were being destroyed by the Supremacy after they evacuated from the Raddus, General Leia Organa tried to imagine a miracle where Inferno Squad returned from their mission to find the Resistance allies in the Outer Rim territories with a task force of Starhawks. The Starhawk referenced in that excerpt from the novelization is a ship that has been mentioned several times across the canon, but we get our first official look at one thanks to the Star Wars Armada game. Built from captured Imperial Star Destroyers, the ship is said to have the firepower to go up against a Super Star Destroyer, bringing one down in the Battle of Jakku. With impressive artillery and strong tractor beams, they are the strongest ships in the New Republic fleet. As always, none of this is confirmed, except for the onager-class Star Destroyer and Starhawk. Everything is pure theory and speculation. I'd love to know what you think of these new rumors down in the comments, but that's all the time I've got for today. I hope to see you back here in the Cantina on Thursday for another Star Wars video. Until then, may the Force be with you.